Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? I actually did a video just decorating these because I had them laying around in my stash and then realised that I don't know if you're familiar with the construction of them, but here it is. It's a strip of paper. Ta-da! Just fold over the top into a triangle so it looks like an envelope and fold the bottom up and then fold the flap over and you have a little envelope. Well, a little faux envelope that you can journal in. It just looks cute tucked into a pocket or stuck to a page so it looks like a pocket itself. I just came along today and stamped all of these and then I thought, well, I had actually better show you how I made them. So that was it. It's as simple as that, and you can make them any size you like. As you can see, these are all different sizes, all different paper. It's just coffee dyed scrapbook paper. So yeah, anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, these were the little envelopes before I stamped them. Simply all I'm going to do here is put a couple of little stamps on them. I'll start by putting like a little postage stamp or seal stamp on each of them, and then I thought, oh, they could use a little bit more, so I pulled out some little German text stamps that I have and just popped a couple of those on each one. So yeah, not terribly exciting stuff. I'll show you a couple just so you know what I'm doing, and yeah, it was just a little project that I happened to do with the camera on, so I thought I would share it with you anyway. So I will, yeah, like I say, just show you a few of them because I did a lot and it's very tedious to watch all of that. I am suffering from my juicy stamp issue again. A lot of these were quite blurry because there's just too much ink on my stamp. I don't care. They're just little embellishments. It's not an issue. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for something that lends a bit of interest to them when they're in a journal. So, yeah. Anyway, I do swap and change little words and every now and again, and as I did with the stamp seal business on the flap. So yeah, they all get something a little bit different here and there, but yeah, again, same thing all the way through. So I won't make you sit through it. Right, well that's the end of those. Nice simple project. So let's move on with something else. These are basically snippet rolls, just made with paper. I make these and just hang the strips off a bulldog clip on my wall. So they're easy to get to and I don't forget to use them. Yeah, I did make these a very long time ago, so clearly I do forget to use them. But they do come in handy. They make great belly bands, or just page decorations, or, yeah, anything, pockets, all sorts of things. So particularly these very neat ones. The very neat ones make great little pockets. Yeah, I use my glue pages to make the neat ones, and the scrappy ones are just made on strips of paper, torn strips of paper. So it's just the way I made them at the time. It's not necessarily that you do it like that, but it's a good way to use glue pages, I find. And it makes them thick enough to make, pockets out of them and whatnot if you want to use it for that in the end. So I do sew them. The neat ones don't really need sewing so much as the scrappy ones do. The scrappy ones definitely need a sewing to make them all sort of hold together properly. But the neat ones, yeah, I just do the sewing because I like the look of it. So, yeah. Now, they're my little glue pages I've been working with recently. My strips will be half the width of those glue pages in that direction. So, but I mean, of course, glue pages come in all sizes. So, yeah, you just make them whatever you like. I make the whole page and then cut the whole thing in half. Or you could just cut the pages in half and then make your strip. It's entirely up to you, but the way I do it is the way I'll show you now. So yeah, I'm just selecting some pages. I just grab sort of 5 or 6 different papers, types of paper, and tear them up for scrap. I do have my scrap bin, but at the moment it's got a bunch of stuff on top of it, and yeah, all the little scraps are right down the bottom. So I just sort of fossicked around and found what I could to make for this video. But when I do make them just for myself, whenever I'm just crafting, I do pull out my scrap bin and just use utter scrap. But today they look a bit more uniform because I'm just using pages that I selected. So these little brown paper strips are the ones that I tore off the other day from something. They were on the top of the scrap bin, so they came along for the ride. So anyway, I will get my bits and pieces ready and we'll get a move on. as you can see here, I like to cover the join to start with. Yeah, just saves everything moving around while I'm working on it. Once I've finished gluing pieces on the bottom card, or bottom glue page, I guess, I will flip the whole thing around the other way and pop another one on and secure that as well. When I'm doing this off camera, I make these ridiculously long and then struggle to cut them in half as I go. But yeah, I just stuck with 3 pages for the video because, well, I didn't want to be collaging glue pages for the rest of your lives. So yeah. Anyway, I will continue with this, and once we have a few, I'll cut them in half and show you what I do next. Lies. Lies, it's all lies. Yeah, this is page number 4. I seem to be adding to this. I thought I stopped at 3, but yeah, sometimes you just can't get enough of a good thing. You may have noticed that it's just, you know, in this format anyway, natural for me to glue things straight. It actually takes conscious effort to glue things at an angle, so I do try to do that occasionally, you may have noticed, because I like it. But yeah, it just, in such a small sort of area, it just seems to come naturally just to glue in, you know, horizontal or vertical lines. Diagonals are difficult. I have to actually think of it. So yeah, you do see the odd one going on in diagonals, but rest assured I had to think about that happening before it did. So yeah, if you suffer from the same issue, you're not alone. if you can just glue things on willy-nilly, more power to you. I wish I could. Okay, that's done. Now I'll cut it down the middle. Yeah, just follow the text lines to get a reasonably even cut. I'm not too precious about it, as long as it looks relatively straight. Yeah, and then I'm going to take these off to the sewing machine. I'll sew these two in two different ways just to show you. This one here I've sewn with one of the pattern stitches, just the swirly stitch at its largest, and I went down it twice. With this one I just did a straight stitch and went down it twice and just moved the strip as it went through. So yeah, two different looks. Yeah. That's what I normally do, that way around. So right, let's make some scrappy ones. I'm going to make these slightly different than the way I normally do. Normally I just take my scrap bin into my sewing room and just sew them on loose, so that's why they need to be sewn. This way I've just popped a little bit of glue down the middle and I'm just putting my scraps on, and then yeah, I mean, I guess you could glue them much more securely and then you wouldn't have to sew, but I like sewing, so I like sewing paper. With these ones I like to put a strip of something or little piles of something on the top before I sew on them. You'll notice I find a couple of bits of scrap from my scrap bin and also a bit of sewing tissue paper, and that's what I add to the top and then sew it all down. So you'll see that in a moment, and yeah, that's how quick a scrappy one goes together. These are just some little coffee dyed pages I made. I just grabbed because I wanted to pop them in our big colourful journal, or at least one of them. yeah, they're just coffee dyed with some very strong coffee dye, which I was making up for something else. I had some left over, so they got the business. Yeah, I thought I would just show you what I do with these paper strips before I disappear for the day. Yeah, they come in handy. I like them. So what I'll do is use one of the neat tidy ones to pop a pocket on, and I'll use one of the scrappy ones to make a page edge. So it's a very simple process. The one that I make the pocket out of, I actually, once I'd cut it to size, took it off and sewed around the edges with my sewing machine, just to make sure everything's held down. Yeah, because it is a glue page to start with, and they're not exactly glued securely together, so I just wanted to make sure when you're popping things in and out, you weren't sort of catching on any bits of glue page that were a bit loose. I decided here I wanted to extend this page and bring back a bit of writing space for it, because you couldn't really, well, I mean, you could write over that text, but it's, I just wanted to. So yeah, I'm going to stick this piece of coffee dyed office paper onto that page, and then I'm going to use my little intuitive writing page there to back it, just to extend that page out and give us a bit more writing space and a bit more something to look at. Okay, we have a newly extended page, and I'm happy with that. Not married to the idea of looking at that piece of dictionary, so I'm going to put a piece of my scrappy strip down the side. Yeah, you'll still be able to see some of the dictionary page, but this just gives us an interesting page edge. So just to show you what I do with all those bits and pieces. So yeah, I'm glad we've been able to use some of this in my in the big scrappy journal, or the big colourful journal, and I'm sure you'll see her again. All right, guys, well, I hope that was interesting to you, and I hope you go off and give this a go. Yeah, it's a good way to use up scraps. Use those up quite a bit, and yeah, they're quite versatile, quite useful. So anyhow, I hope you all have a good day. It's been lovely crafting with you as per usual, and I will see you all again next time. All right, guys. Bye.